Good morning. Junior high is going to be sharing first. We are group met to Hattie Larlam, which is about an hour away from here. And I'll give you a little history of it first. Hattie was a nurse who was frustrated with the lack of assistance programs for children with disabilities. She began taking care of a neighbor's child who was disabled. At one point, she had 10 children living in their 3-bedroom house with her husband and her 3 children caring for these children. So then in 1963, Hattie Larlam Foundation was founded with more than 100 children on the waiting list. There are now 130 children and young adults who live at the facility, and they're provided with not just round-the-clock care as needed, but also the care and love that they would get at home. There's all kinds of things that they have there. There's a theater room, a multi-sensory room, a warm water pool for therapy. The children go to school, I believe, all year round, and there's activities for the young adults. Each child shares a room with another person, and then there are these clusters of these clusters of personally decorated rooms which center around an open living area where they have their meals, they do activities, and they watch TV. Throughout the facility, there's large windows, skylights, big areas to play or visit in. But the one thing that struck me so clearly was that the care that each person was given, no matter what their ability level was. There's also a fairly new addition to the building where day camps for children with autism are held, and you'll see pictures in a little bit of some things that we did there. So the main things that we did while we were there was that we helped with the day camp for children with autism, and then we also helped with the day camp where community children came in and played and interacted with the children who live there in the wheelchairs. So I'm going to go ahead and
when we went up there, we stayed at a campground. All the girls, we stayed in a cabin with bunk beds and things like that. And our lone guy, Josiah, he slept in a tent out behind the cabin. Also, our lunches were provided at Hattie Larlam. We ate what their employees eat. Each day there were salads, and there were some break tables that we would go outside each day and eat our lunch outside. And then in the evening we'd have meals at the campsite. We had things like pizza one night, and I think we had hot dogs and just things that we could make pretty quickly and easily. And we had divided into different groups who either you were in the group that provided dinner for the evening, or you were in the group that provided the devotions for the evening. So.
One of the unique programs at Hattie is their summer day camp, where kids from the outside come in for camp each day, and they're matched up with a buddy from the residents. The kids get to interact with a child with multiple disabilities, and they do games, they did arts and crafts. One day we were given marshmallows and toothpicks, and we got to make our own creations, and it was just really interesting to see how the young kids that came to the program really cared for and interacted with the residents, and the residents seemed to enjoy being involved with the program with the kids from the outside.
Another camp that we worked at was with the autistic kids, and they were all really little. I don't know what the ages were, but it was really interesting to learn how to work with them. At first you didn't really know what to expect, but you learn after a while how each kid reacts to certain things, and kind of like what level of autism they have. Some of the things we did with them is we went out to a playground with them and we just played around. That's a picture of one part of they have this huge area with tons of stuff to do. And they have little activities that the kids can do. They have have this table that they put different types of things, like different textures in, and the kids can play with that every day. And we send some that day and stuff.
Whenever we got to the cabin where we stayed after we worked all day, we would play volleyball with the old camper place where you park because we didn't feel like walking to the volleyball net. And we ended up playing volleyball and swimming in the lake. And every night when we went to sleep, Richard would sing us 10 different songs really loud. And that would never put us to sleep, but it was really fun. And Haley left a trail of goldfish hoping a cat would come. And she ended up tracking a raccoon. And we went swimming in a lake. That's really good.
Every night, we would have devotions around the campfire after we took our showers from the day. And we broke up into two groups, and one group would do supper, and another group would do devotions. And we did skits, and we would do Bible passages, and yeah. We roasted marshmallows, I think, one night too. On the last day, we walked the adults, went to a different part of the area of the place, and we got to pick who we wanted to walk. And I walked the first guy. His name was Jason, and he was asleep most of the time. Well, I think the whole time, I couldn't really tell. And I just kept talking to him. I'd say, like, look at this, look at that, even though I knew he wasn't looking. And I would sing campfire songs. I sing to them, but to him. And then we took that bunch in, and we went to go get another bunch. And that time I had a guy named Joe. He was awake, but I did the same things I did with Jason. But yeah. And then it was kind of hot when we took them out, so we would take them to the shade to sit for the rest of the time. And when it was time to go in, we took them in. And it was pretty cool because the playground facility area, it had, on the ground, it was rubbery ground where the playground was, the playground's equipment was. And so I just wanted to jump on it because it's a little bouncy. There were these musical type things that, it was kind of like a junky, it was metal, these pieces of metal that you could they were chimes that you could ding, I guess. And that would make some cool noises, sounds. And there was also a pathway that had different textures on it that we could wheel our patients or people over. And such as rocky surfaces and rocky surfaces. And that was pretty much it.
We're going to share a scripture verse now that kind of encapsulates what our week was about loving and how we love other people.
As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love. If you obey my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have obeyed my Father's commands, and I remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you, and that your joy may be complete.
My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that he lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I can do.
I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything that I learned from my Father I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you to go and bear fruit that will last. Then the Father will give you whatever you ask in my name. This is my command: love each other.